Welcome to the Village Green NPTV show on the environment in Newport Beach. And it hardly seems possible that a year has passed and we're back at Green on the Green, which is the event put on by the Chamber to highlight a lot of the green groups and activities that are going on in our city. So come on, let's visit some of them. I am here with Craig Smith, and I don't know, there's so many ways I could introduce you. He's written a lot of books, a couple of a really interesting one. I think my favorite was the one about the waves.
Oh, thank you. Same waves.
Extra, that was right. But he's here today with a special group that I know you're very involved in and have been very instrumental with policy. Tell us about it.
Well, it's a Citizens Climate Lobby, and we're a local group, part of an international group, actually, that is supporting moves to get Congress to take action on global warming. And of course, that's very important here in Newport Beach because our harbors and shorelines are valuable resources, and they're at risk due to sea rise in the future. So we're supporting a bill that's a bipartisan bill working its way through Congress to encourage government to enact a price on carbon, which will help reduce carbon emissions.
Okay, and when we reduce carbon emissions,
Reducing carbon emissions means decreasing the amount of carbon dioxide going into the atmosphere. That is what's causing global warming, and that is actually a very serious issue today.
A very serious issue. Unfortunately, it's also a political issue, and sometimes politics trumps science. Are you finding, though, that in the last year, 2 years, that we're seeing a little bit of a shift? I seem to feel it.
Yes, Nancy, definitely I see a shift in the last couple of years. And California is at the forefront of a lot of things. But California is taking the lead in reducing emissions, encouraging renewable energy. Renewable energy, solar and wind, the costs have dropped dramatically. It's cheaper to build solar and wind power plants today than natural gas. That's really surprising. Coal is going to die. It's going away. And that will be a big improvement for public health.
So now, if someone wants to get more involved or learn more, you have a website, or how do they do that?
Yes, so we have a website.
And hey, what about this?
That's a draft of a book my co-author and I are working on. It's not quite ready for publication yet, but we're having people review that and give us back comments. So hopefully that'll be out later in the year.
Okay, well, good. All right, well, thank you so much. And this is a great cause, and I know you've come a long way. I remember talking a number of years ago when it was just sort of the first little bloom, and now you have all sorts of people, you have politicians signed on and everything.
Yes, and we hope that the city of Newport Beach will continue its actions in terms of helping the community understand the risks that we face and planning for the future.
Good. Well, thank you, Craig, and all the people that work with you.
All right, thank you very much.
All right. I'm here with Cheryl Rendez, which I finally got the name right because my hearing's not very good. Wonders of Wildlife. And what is your group about?
Okay, we're a small nonprofit group that's been around since 1983, and we do traveling education programs with live animals and artifacts to kind of educate the kids and people of all ages about animals and nature and the environment.
What a fun job.
Well, it is nonprofit, so all of us is volunteer. Anything we raise goes directly to support the animals, many of which are rescued. So that's what we do.
Okay, now I see one animal right over here.
Yeah, this one's hard at work.
All right, so this is what?
She's hard at work. This is Carnita. She actually was on the Pick a Pet show for MBTV for like 12 years when she started out little. So now she's 14, so she's a senior pig. And she just is a theme dresser. So she wanted to come out at the Green Expo here and kind of chill and show at Newport Beach. You know, relax, chill, have fun at Newport Beach.
Well, so now, how long do these pigs live?
We have heard anything from 15, 20, 25.
Oh, okay. How much does she weigh?
She stayed small, unlike some of the potbelly pigs. She's like about 54 pounds.
That's great. And we have another animal over here. Let me move a moment. All right, we have another animal here. Tell us about this.
Okay, this is my lovely volunteer and possum whisperer Tina, and this is Hutch. Hutch is one of our non-releasable wildlife critters that come to us. Hutch is a female opossum. She is getting up in age now. And when she came to us, mom had been injured or killed, and the babies, some of them were injured, so they couldn't be released. So that's how we usually get our opossums for our education program. So Hutch is now about 4 or 5. So she's kind of shows some age. In the wild, they live maybe 3. In captivity, I've had them live as long as 5 or 6.
Oh, okay.
So, but they are our only marsupial that we have around here.
So you said that this is an opossum. That's the American?
No, the American version is spelled with an O for possum. When you get to New Zealand, Australia areas, it's just possum. And those are just distant relatives of this one. So.
Well, I've never thought of a possum as a pet because I've seen they have very sharp teeth.
No, they do not make pets. This is part of wildlife.
Okay. No, but they are wonderful to have for your yard. They'll eat baby rats, baby mice. They'll eat black widow spiders, and they don't carry rabies. So their body temperature is too low, so you won't have that problem with them. So they're absolutely fabulous to have in your yard.
And they also they eat ticks also that cause Lyme disease. So back east, that was like a big problem. And then they found out that, hey, the opossums are actually eating the small little ticks that actually carry the Lyme disease.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
So they're helpful. We have a couple more animals down here as well.
All right. Sure. This looks like it came from the Galapagos or something.
Well, it's a kind of it's a cousin to the Komodo dragons, which live on the Komodo Islands. Komodos are just a kind of monitor, but they're the largest of the monitors. This is a medium-sized one. This is a savanna monitor, and they get about 3-4 feet, so not quite as big as Komodos. They get like 8 to 10. And basically, this one's kind of a slug. They don't move extremely fast. Again, she was a rescue. Somebody had her for a pet, did not want her anymore, and their brilliant plan was to take her out and release her somewhere. And a rescue animal, like a reptile rescue group, came in and said, no. And they fattened her up, got her socialized, and then we got her. So
well, this is not a local.
No, this is from the savanna regions in Africa.
Oh, okay.
So they're that long. They have very good sense of smell and sight, so they're triggered by things that move. So if we get a hot dog over there, she would really down that in a heartbeat.
So carnivore?
Yes. In the wild, they eat mostly insects, but they'll eat like eggs and small critters as well. And she just likes to hang out and enjoy the sun here too.
Oh, sure. All reptiles like that. So if someone wants to have you to a class or would like to help support you, how can they get more information?
Okay, they can either, email me, which is on the banner, which is WOW animals @yahoo.com. Phone number is 714-992-4969. Or if they want to mail something to us, it's P.O. Box 5463, Fullerton, California, 92838.
Well, great. We can run that along the bottom so people can be sure and get that.
Ed's a pro at this.
Well, thank you. I enjoyed meeting each of your distinctive wild creatures.
This is Ed's buddy over here.
Well, CR&R, Lawrence Jones here, and you do pick up most of the trash in our city.
Yes, we do.
And we have a new challenge coming up, don't we? As far as organics?
Organics is certainly going to be a challenge for the city.
So explain that we have up to this point, as far as sort of dividing our trash, we have done recyclables and then the rest, and not the organics. All the garden clippings and everything were considered not recyclables in terms of what we're doing right now. But we're going to have to be doing with food waste and with green waste. That will be its own separate category soon?
Yeah, that's correct. Basically what has happened is...
That's all right, no problem.
Basically what's happened is the focus for organic waste has been primarily on commercial, and now now the state is looking more at directing towards residential as well. That's further down the line, but it is something that the city will be looking to address probably in the near future on how they want to capture that. Also coming up in the past, green waste has been used typically for something called alternative daily cover, which is going away. Cities have...
for landfills.
For landfills. Basically, cities are required to have a certain diversion. The green waste had been used for, as I said, alternative daily cover, whereas we take it, they finish their day's worth of trash collection, they compact it, then they put the green waste on top, and then they take the next day's trash. Well,
And that would take quite a lot of the green waste.
and that's where a lot of the green waste is going right now. But that is going away in 2020. So the big question is, what do you do with your green waste?
Yeah, there's only so much mulch we can handle, right?
Right. And, CR&R is in a terrific spot because we spent about $30 million developing an anaerobic digester, which is only one of its kind, which a number of surrounding cities are already using, which will take both that green waste and that food waste. So that is certainly an option the city is reviewing to do, see if that's the direction they want to go with their food waste and green waste going forward.
I think those anaerobic digesters are really cool, and they're not, I wouldn't say they're not expensive, but they're not inside. I understand that you can build them at different scales, and so you don't necessarily have to have what you like with a landfill, all those acres and everything.
That's true, and also CR&R had spent a lot of time developing what program they wanted to go forward with. They sent people all over the world, in fact, and then they found the program that they liked, hired their engineers, and lack of a better word, they put it on steroids to accommodate, Orange County, LA County, San Bernardino County, Riverside County, and the program was up and running before this legislation even passed. So CR&R has been very proactive in this area, and it is something that the city is looking towards, as an option for its residents, and they think it's probably the best option.
Well, we look forward to hearing what happens, but I think it sounds like you're ahead of the game and we are in good hands. Thank you.
Thank you, and it's a pleasure being here. CR&R is proud to be a sponsor of this event every year, the title sponsor. It just continues to grow, and the Chamber has done a great job with it.
All right. Thank you so much, Lawrence. IRWD, which handles part of the city, Irvine Ranch Water District, in case anybody doesn't know that acronym by this time. And I'm with your full name is?
My name is Marcel Pufal.
And?
Dawn Jordan Romero.
Okay, so you're out here helping people, educating people. What's new? Anything new on the waterfront right now?
I could say we're just basically doing more sustainability things. We're trying to be more earth-friendly, eco-friendly, especially with the items that we provide to our customers, and education. We do a lot of workshops. We are partnered with a lot of events where we want to promote sustainability and also more conservation helpful hints to our customers and other people who are in other service areas.
So what do you have here? Are all these sort of sustainable or what?
We are offering some rebate programs to make sure that our customers are aware of the incentives that are available if they want to install more water efficient appliances such as toilets, washing machines. We also have, for example, some dye tabs that our customers or anyone really could see if their toilet is leaking, which is both costing them money and is just wasting water.
I did that last year. I was very pleased. My toilets didn't leak, yay! But yeah, it was
effective.
Absolutely. I love things like that. So, what sort of education programs do you have?
Well, a lot of our educational programs are workshops and events. Like, for instance, we have one coming up on September 19th, which is Tap Water 101. And it's a workshop that's going to educate our customers on drinking water, where the water comes from, how it's processed, because we're trying to get our customers to drink more tap water.
Yes.
Less bottled water, more tap water.
Yes, that's such a good idea.
Yeah.
And it's so funny because I've learned over the years that the kind of tests we put our drinking water, our tap water through, are far more comprehensive.
Yes, exactly.
That's exactly correct. Mm-hmm.
So,
Yep.
yeah, that's good. Well, you guys have been leaders.
Oh, thank you.
Absolutely.
Yes, thank you.
And I've always hoped that we would get, for the rest of the city, the tiered water rates that you have introduced so successfully, particularly in Irvine.
Yes.
I know your customer satisfaction went up with that, which people were like, oh, everybody's going to hate it, and they went, no.
Especially with the availability of recycled water, which is something that Irvine Ranch Water District pioneered and is very effective. That's the group that I'm in particular. And we're really proud of it.
And you've also got the marsh, which...
Yes, we do. We have the San Joaquin Marsh here. We have 12 miles of walking trails that people can visit, and we have ponds within those trails. And not many people know that that's a natural treatment system. So it's functional and it's beautiful at the same time. So people can come and bird watch. They can sit at the picnic benches and have lunch, or they can visit our museum there. We have a visitor center that kind of explains how everything came to be. So yes, we're very proud of that part.
The last time I was there, I was walking on one of the trails, and this man said, there's storks. And I said, well, that was interesting, because I had thought that storks were, sort of African, European type things. And then I walked where he was, and there were some big white pelicans.
Yeah, exactly.
But if you didn't know your birds
through them, like what that is right there.
Yeah. If you didn't know your birds, you might think it was a stork.
Yeah.
No, that's the whole thing is terrific. And to get more information, they would go to
irwd.com. All of our information is there.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, great. Keep up the good work.
Thank you.
Vanessa Ayala, and you are a naturalist with the Newport Bay Conservancy.
Yes.
And let me tell you, that's not like just being a volunteer. How much training did you have to be a naturalist?
So it's a 10 to 12 week program you do from September to December, and you're there every Thursday night, and then Saturdays you go out and do the hands-on of what you learned on Thursday. So afterwards, there's a test you have to take, and you pass this test, and it's pretty gruesome. You have to know a lot about the bay. And then I've been doing this since 2013.
So if you go to the bay and you go to the Moose Center, or you take one of the kayak tours, many times you'll have a naturalist as a guide.
Yes.
The group has an exciting moment coming up. I think you've got a new book coming out. Are you familiar with that?
There was a new book that was written, yes, and we are going to be carrying it inside the Interpretive Center at Upper Newport Back Bay. It's in our Moose Center, and so you are able to purchase it there.
And that's the history.
The history of the bay, of how it started, how it was organized, how a group of people started to save the bay so it wasn't turned into apartment complexes and a shopping center and stuff like that.
A marina and all the other things.
Yeah.
So you've got lots of kids' activities here. First of all, you've got that's a raccoon?
Yes, so these are some of the animals that you can actually find at the Upper Newport Back Bay. We have our raccoon right here, and we do have our possum. We have some of the skulls with the furs, so everyone can go ahead and fill them. We have a bobcat and coyote.
Uh-huh.
We have our rabbit fur right here, and we actually do have some of the pellet droppings. So say you're out on a hike, you're running your bike, and you're like, wow, what is this?
Yeah.
We have some stuff to help people identify, like, what animals are here at the bay. And we have some arts and crafts for the kids, so they can kind of come color, cut out, and do some stuff right now. We have little mini raccoons or skunks and possums and stuff like that for them to make and take with them.
So the rabbits in the bay, I notice now we are getting many rabbits. I live in Corona Del Mar.
Okay.
And lots of rabbits down along the ocean because there's a lot of green belt there. Mm-hmm. And so are those the native rabbits?
Yes, those are native rabbits. They're mostly brown with a little white tail.
Yeah.
If there is an abundance population, it could be because coyotes are not in the area, they're not eating it. And so the bunnies are just flourishing and kind of going from there.
Which is surprising because we used to have a lot of coyotes. I'd wake up in the morning and see them still, going, I'm still here. But are they just have more food sources elsewhere, or what's going on?
It could be there might be food sources elsewhere. They're kind of going further out, or their home is being built, and so they don't really have an area to go ahead and call home anymore. And so at that point, they're having to go further out. Lots of times, unfortunately, people do take situations into their own hands, and they'll kind of, I don't want this animal here in my yard, and they will shoot them or do something or call animal control to come and take them. But this is their home, they do live here. And so there's just lots of things that could be going into effect.
Well, I do notice that in my yard, I know because I have lots of fruit trees and vegetables, so I get the rats, but I get the raccoons over there, and they're very clever. And I've had an opossum in the yard, I know, and so, but as I say, we used to see the coyotes, we don't see them as much. Well, this is a fun thing for the kids, and the Conservancy does such great work. You've got so many educational programs and so many recreational programs.
Yes,
you really
we do.
combine both.
We do. We have lots of stuff for the community, Justin. You can come, you can run, you can bike, you can hide. We have trails to kind of go out. We do kayak tours on the weekends, Saturdays and Sundays, $25 per person. Kids 8 and older are able to go. That's at the Newport Aquatic Center. So you can either bring your kayaks out and go. You can come with the naturalist who would take you out and kind of explain the bay. And what are you looking at? What fish are you seeing, and ducks and birds and stuff like that. So we even have like mommy and me classes for kids to come and do for children 2 and older in the interpretive center. Interpretive center is free. You don't have to pay for parking. It's open Tuesday through Sunday from 10 to 4. So everybody's welcome to come.
And everybody comes. I mean, you get there, the dog walkers love it.
Yes, we have a little dog bowl in the back around the corner, so in case your dog's a little thirsty, turn the spigot on, you have water, and you're good to go.
And you'll see horseback riding?
Yes, people will bring their horses out to kind of go along the trails, and they take them out, and it's just awesome. It's a beautiful view.
It is. I think and it's surprising how many people that live here don't really know what a resource it is.
It's true. It's almost a little hidden gem. It's not visible from the street. We're off of Irvine and University, the interpretive center, so you kind of park in the dirt parking lot and walk down. It's just like, wow, an oasis is just in here.
Yeah. Well, thank you very much.
Yeah, no problem. Thank you.
Michael, what do we have here?
Hi, so this is our...
Let's stand aside so we can see you. I'm not important, you are.
Okay, so this is our underground infrastructure for the utility system. And here we have the storm drain system. So what happens is there's a storm drain valve at the bay areas, because there's parts of the city that go below sea level when there's high tide. And instead of having the water come up onto the street and flood the streets and maybe homes or businesses, these valves need to be shut during certain times, during peak times.
And that's done manually?
That's done manually. And then there's about 80 of those that we have. And then when the tide goes down, we're able to go ahead and open those back up, so when it rains or if there's water coming down the street, it has a place to go, so it doesn't flood that way. So
this is an example of the rain coming in, is that right?
This is an example of water going into the storm catch basin and going into the catch basin itself. There's the valve. When it's shut, it fills up. When it's open, it goes right into the bay.
And of course, the water coming through the storm drain never is that lovely.
Often not, no.
Okay, and what else do we have here?
And then we have here, these are our hydrants. We have 2,636 fire hydrants that we
Wait a minute, how many?
2,636. And so those get maintained on a yearly basis, and we have around 20 that get hit during the year, and then we also replace 20 to 30 more ourselves that are wearing out and need a replacement. And each of those have their own shutoff valve, which you can see down below. This is an isolation valve for the hydrant. That way, if it gets hit, we're able to shut off just that one valve and no one else is affected, just the hydrant, rather than shutting off several homes to fix the fire hydrant.
Okay. So, I mean, doesn't look like we've done a whole lot of modernizing of our fire hydrants. These look like the same fire hydrants we had, same method of when I was a child, say. So it's just a good basic format?
Well, actually, and at least in Newport Beach, we used to have about 2,000 of them that were what are called dry barrel hydrants. And the shutoff was down way below ground. And what would happen was it would build up rust and everything, and it's really was made for real cold weather systems, like where it freezes. That's why you had to have the shut down below ground so it wouldn't freeze. But these are actually called California hydrants. They're wet barrel hydrants made for warm weather because we don't have to worry about freezing. So the shutoff is actually just here at the outlets. So this is full of water all the time. So that's why if it gets hit, water will shoot up in the air 60, 80 feet. So we now have, almost all of our hydrants are now wet barrel hydrants like this. We probably only have around 40 to 50 left that are those dry barrel hydrants yet.
So despite what I thought, we have upgraded them. Now tell me, how do you find out, when somebody runs their car into it, is there a signal to the headquarters or something?
So there's several ways we could find out. One is a resident will notice it and see it. The second is and they'll call us or they'll call the fire department or the police department and they'll notify us. Another way is we'll see it ourselves. And then the third way is there's actually a water system that we have. It's called a SCADA system that can watch the water peak out all of a sudden out of nowhere we'll know that we're losing a lot of water somewhere within a certain area at this time. So we'll either know it's either a hydrant that was hit or there's a water main break because we're losing way too much water. So we'll go search that area or ask the fire department or police department, have they received any calls related to a hit hydrant? Or do they know of anything that's called for a lot of water loss? So those are a few different ways we could find out. So.
Now, any other parts of this that we should know?
So we also take care of our street lights. So that's taken care of. That's why that's here. We make sure that the city's well lit. We have this is the water main system, water distribution system. So each street has their own water main, and coming off the water main, there's a water service that goes to each home. So that will run up to a water meter, and at the water meter, there's their own shutoff right there. We replace about 200 of those little valves a year.
Because they wear out or rust out or something?
They wear out or they start leaking. Either they're leaking by or they're leaking right out. And some of them have been there since the neighborhood was built. And we have some old neighborhoods in Newport Beach. So those are consistently being done, somewhere around 200 a year. And then there's the meter, and then so that outside of someone's property, there'll be a meter box. If that gets open, there'll be a meter, and there'll be a shutoff right before the meter. If there's any leak on property, that one valve can be shut off, and they're isolated. Just that one home.
So I just as a question, we still do have people come around and read the meters. Is there any idea of making that more, less user intensive?
Yes, we're right now going through a process of having all the meters replaced with a new system that will be automated reading. And so it's going to be able to have people be able to check in, find out what their reading is, why they're using so much water. Maybe they're on vacation, they don't know why. Do they have a leak? And they can find out real time what the situation is going on at their house at that moment without us going out there. So this will all be done by satellite.
Oh, that'd be great.
And then, so we have these type of valves here. We have around 8,000, 2,636 for hydrants, and then the remaining around 5,200 are for the water mains themselves. So if we have a water main break, we can isolate a section and we replace about 50 of these valves a year. And main breaks, we only have around 10 a year. And that could be caused by either, they could be wear and tear, but oftentimes they're hit by a contractor doing underground work.
Yeah, okay.
Yes. And then we have this is called potable water, drinking water that feeds, it's safe to drink. That goes to the home, and it's also the same water that feeds hydrants. So they're both tap, safe, potable water. But once the water's used, it needs to drain out of the house. And that's a drainage sewer system that comes out into the house, into the sewer main, and then eventually goes to the county, and the county treats the water. So that's our system.
So you've got all this system that takes a lot of space, underground, above ground, and you've got a wonderful sample right here in a couple of square feet.
We have Richard. So we have Richard Aguirre. He's the man who basically built this, came up with the idea of how can we show people what our system has, what's our infrastructure underground. So he drew it up, and then we provided him the parts, and with a little help, he built this whole thing.
It's great.
From a lot of departments, all our departments, each department, sewer, wastewater production, and all our water guys help kind of put in their 2 cents to kind of redesign it.
Yeah, but I love it. It is so compact and explains so much of what you do. It's great. Thank you very much. Well, that's our show. I hope you've enjoyed the tour of Green on the Green. And until next time, let's all work on making our village green.